So, you want to become a content creator, or maybe you just want to create a couple of videos here and there, and then you're going to share them with your close friends and family. But unfortunately, you were born in the wrong timeline, where YouTube is the largest video sharing platform by far, and it is run by a CEO that wants to turn the platform into a giant echo chamber. Fortunately, there is a solution to this, and it is powered by blockchain, the library protocol, and its most popular platform that utilizes it, Odysee. Now, these are sort of two different things, so I'll explain each one and how they connect to one another, starting with the library protocol itself. So Library is a decentralized file sharing and payment network built using blockchain and BitTorrent technology. Technically, you can share any kind of files that you want on the library network, but it's mostly used for videos. It uses the BitTorrent technology to serve that content without relying on their own servers by using peer-to-peer file sharing. And hopefully you've seen my videos about how torrenting and BitTorrent works before YouTube decided that they were against their community guidelines. But if you're confused about how BitTorrent works, you can, of course, still check out these videos of mine on Odysee. Library, it also has its own cryptocurrency called Library Credits, or LBC, built into it, which allows creators to monetize their videos because, unsurprisingly, people that put a lot of effort into making content that's actually good like to get paid for it. So you can monetize them in a couple of different ways. One way is, I guess you could call it a passive monetization, where you just upload videos for free, and then you get a certain amount of these library tokens paid to you per view. So this is very similar to YouTube's model, where you get paid a certain amount of money once your channel is monetized per view. But on Library or on Odysee, you can also set it up so that the videos cost a certain amount of library tokens to watch, so it's more of a pay-per-view model where the end user is paying this amount of library tokens to unlock that video. Now, there's a bunch of different ways to access the content that's on Library. You can do it right from the command line by running the library daemon, which then connects to the library network. You can download the cross-platform app, and so it's going to work for all of the different platforms that you see here. This is what it looks like on Linux. Or you can access it the way that most people do by just going to odysee.com, and that's spelled ODYSEE.com. And just a brief tangent about this domain name, I cannot tell you the number of times, especially when I first started using Odysee, that I would try looking it up and I would end up on a page like this because I ended up spelling Odyssey like Homer's Odyssey. But maybe as this platform becomes a lot more popular, less people are going to run into this kind of confusion. Like, I don't know anybody in current year who misspells google.com as Google, the name for 10 to the power of 100. But anyway, this here, Odysee, is the most popular front end for the library network. As you can see, it is very similar to YouTube in a lot of ways. You can leave a like or a dislike on a video, and Odysee actually lets you see the number of dislikes that a video has. So that's a big advantage right there since YouTube removed them. You can change the speed of video playback, so you can see you can change this in a similar way to YouTube. You can also change the quality of the video. You can play it in full screen if you want. There's descriptions that you're able to add for the videos, as well as tags. Now, let's take a look at the comments section. So this is another thing that Odysee has, very similar to YouTube, except you can see here that you're able to post pictures as well in your comments. So the comments section in Odysee is actually a little bit more feature-rich than YouTube. You can't do this. Closest thing you could do is maybe use ASCII art to try to make something like that, which you could do on Odysee as well, but not as many people do since you can post pictures. And another really cool thing about Odysee, pretty much the biggest reason to use the platform, in my opinion, is the lack of censorship that there is on this platform. So YouTube It has a tendency to shadow ban a lot of comments that I guess are controversial or whatever, but it's extremely sensitive to this, and a lot of comments will get shadow banned that personally don't even seem controversial to me at all. And I personally think the whole concept of shadow banning is one of the most disgusting things we've seen with big tech, that big tech has made more common, because basically what it means is you don't even get informed or get any notification that you did something wrong. Just poof, all of a sudden your comments no longer appear for other people to see. And I know that terminal autism, for example, is probably somewhere in this comment section, but he kept getting shadow banned. He's an example of someone on YouTube that they kept deleting his comments, and I think eventually he just stopped commenting, at least on my YouTube videos, but he's really common in a lot of my Odysee videos, like on pretty much all of them. You can see him. I'm sure that you'll probably see him on this video too, so thanks Terminal Autism for your comment. Now, Odysee does have, I guess, what you could call a soft form of censorship in the comment section, which is democratic in nature. So just like how a video can have likes and dislikes on it, comments can have likes and dislikes on them as well. And they actually call the dislikes slimes. So to dislike something is to slime it. And if it gets a whole bunch of slime compared to its upvotes, basically if its ratio gets too low, then it'll get slimed to death. So you can see that this is an example here of a comment where that happened, because it's got 11 slimes and only 2 upvotes. And yeah, so you can't read it. I think you can click on it to like reveal it. Yeah. And then you can see whatever that person's comment is. And I believe it permanently stays that way. I don't think there's any way that you can undo it. But this is kind of a soft form of censorship, right? I guess if there's comments that are posted that are too offensive or something like that, maybe they're going to get removed. And then there's a chance that if you're somebody who's more sensitive to that kind of stuff, that you're less likely to see those comments. At least that's what it kind of looks like to me, how the slimes are used a lot of the time. Or maybe it'll just be used for comments that people disagree with, right? Obviously, there's videos for different type of niches. So if you say something that goes against that niche, then a lot of people are probably going to slime your comment, and then it won't show up. Unless you click on it, of course. Now, despite what some people say about Odysee being the Wild West where anything goes, that's actually not true at all. They do have a community guidelines, which is actually really similar to YouTube in terms of the things that you're not able to post, that you're not able to upload. But what I do like about Odysee is that there aren't any hidden rules. So the thing is, I don't really have a huge problem with YouTube's community guidelines as they are written. I read through them thoroughly before I started uploading videos to the platform, and I actually think that they're kind of reasonable. And Odysee and YouTube are both private companies, so there's nothing that, legally speaking, that requires them to uphold the First Amendment. They can block whatever kind of content they want, legally speaking. However, certain moderators at YouTube, they like to interpret the rules in some interesting ways, and they don't really uphold the same rules for different channels. Like if you're a so-called official news organization, which is kind of arbitrary, then they let you get away with posting a lot more things. Or maybe if you're just someone who's more popular on the platform, or I know in some cases there's people who have an inside guy at YouTube, like they personally know somebody who works at it, who's maybe kind of high up and has some power, and so they're able to post a lot more content that other channels wouldn't be able to get away for. So yeah, they don't enforce the rules the same on YouTube at all. And so we've seen examples like this on my channel, for example, where if you say that command line, if you talk about a command line utility that lets you download YouTube videos, or if you explain how torrents work, that's considered harmful or dangerous content, and it can get you a strike on your channel. And I think this is part of the reason why, despite there being more content creators on YouTube than ever before, the variety of content has shrunk. Now, another thing I really like about Odysee, which is, again, similar to how YouTube used to be back in the day, is how your feed is set up. So On YouTube, the most prominent thing in your feed is basically the algorithm. So whatever videos YouTube thinks you want to watch based off of your viewing habits, but even then this isn't completely accurate because there's certain videos that if you view them, maybe YouTube doesn't necessarily show more of them to you, and it tries to sort of push different agendas. I mean, there's certain things that, certain news events, for example, that YouTube just kind of pushes on everybody, regardless of whether they care about them or not. But on Odysee, the most prominent thing in your feed is channels that you are subscribed to. This is how YouTube used to be back in the day. So you can see the first things that pop up for me are DistroTube, Lewis Rossman, and Some Ordinary Gamers, because I follow them here on Odysee. Then down here in featured, this is basically like the Odysee algorithm. So this is whatever content is either popular on the platform right now, or this is probably also content that's being boosted. Because again, this is a blockchain-based platform. So one way to get more views on your video is to stake more library tokens on it, and that'll kind of help to push your video to the front page. Now, there's another way in which Odysee is similar to YouTube back in the day, which is not super positive, and that is the limitation. So when you upload videos to Odysee, you want to, or you're basically required to upload them in 720p with an MP4 container and a maximum of 5 megabits per second. So this is the reason why I know some of you were asking why my Odysee videos seem to be lower quality than YouTube videos. It's because for my YouTube videos, I record those in 1080p 60. I'm not exactly sure what the bitrate is off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it's higher than 5 megabits per second. So when they get ported over to Odysee, to library, they get compressed a little bit. Now, it is possible to upload content with higher resolutions to the library platform. As far as I'm aware, that protocol itself doesn't actually have any hard limitations like this. But as I've noticed some people say in this video, for example, which is just like a 4K test upload of this guy's Glock, just doing some B-roll, I guess. A lot of people are saying that the video is sluggish, doesn't seem to be able to handle the bitrate, and they're like giving timestamps of this. And there's even some that are somewhat recent. Well, this one's just saying 24 megabits a second, which I guess is the bitrate that this person used, or maybe it's the bitrate that they're getting, I'm not sure. It doesn't really seem to be lagging for me. But yeah, you can see that most people are saying that there's lots of buffering, and in some cases it refuses to buffer. So this is, kind of one of the downsides to the platform, because it is decentralized, so it really depends on how many people are adding bandwidth to this whole thing, right? It's not like YouTube where they have not even just a server, but they have many, many data centers full of many, many servers that are serving up all this content. And so that's why people all over the world are able to watch YouTube in 4K and even 8K that they have now. And it's actually able to play back without any lag, assuming that you have a fast enough internet connection, everything like that. And a couple of other downsides, which mostly just apply to the creators, is that you don't really earn as much from Odysee as you would from a monetized YouTube channel. Again, assuming that you're able to actually upload videos. Because yeah, right now these Odysee tokens are not worth a whole lot. Now that could change in the future, right? Like if they were to go to, I don't know, a couple of dollars, then I guess I'd have 100,000, a little bit over 100,000. Right now I think it's worth like 3 cents. So it's not really a whole lot that I've been able to earn from Odysee. And another downside to the platform, again, for a creator, is the analytics. So the analytics, as far as like how many people are watching your videos and subscribing to you and things like that, is Nowhere near as detailed as it is on YouTube, but I don't think this is too big of a deal for most creators because I think most people are just uploading their videos to YouTube and then having them get synced to Odysee as well. At least that's what I do. And then in some cases where I want to make a video that I guess is controversial, which is many more kinds of videos on YouTube these days, then I just go ahead and I upload that to Odysee exclusively. So you should definitely check out Odysee or one of the other library platforms that are available for Windows, Linux, Mac, iOS, as well as Android. You don't even have to create an account to use it unless you want to leave comments or ratings on a video. And speaking of which, be sure to leave a like and comment on this video to hack the algorithm and subscribe to me on Odysee. Have a great rest of your day.